first-time cruisers waste their money is by paying their gratuities twice. A lot of first-time cruisers don't realize that gratuities will be automatically applied to their room at the end of their cruise.
These are 8 lies the cruise industry tells first-time passengers that can turn your dream vacation into a financial nightmare. Every year, according to the Cruise Lines International Association, CLIA, 37.7 million cruise line passengers set sail expecting one price.
What up, y'all? Here are 5 tips for first-time cruisers. Number 1, if you're flying into the cruise port, do not fly in the day of. It's a huge risk. If your flight gets delayed or canceled, you could potentially miss your cruise. So fly in at least the day before. Number 2, put a change of clothes or documents in a carry-on. When you arrive at the cruise port, they'll take your bags to bring it to your cabin. And it may take a couple hours for your bags to arrive.
But discover the reality costs double what they planned. Let me be crystal clear from the start. I'm not anti-cruise. Cruising can be an incredible vacation experience, but the industry has developed some deeply misleading practices that prey specifically on first-time cruisers who don't know what to expect. After analyzing industry reports, Federal Trade Commission settlement documents, and thousands of passenger complaints, I've uncovered a pattern of deception that costs families hundreds or even thousands more than they budgeted.
Don't do this. Pay attention to who is included on the automatic gratuities on your cruise ship. And don't pay twice.
The numbers tell the story. Wall Street analysts estimate that cruise pricing for 2024 sailings ran 17.5% to 22.5% ahead of 2019 levels, with some analysts putting it even higher at 20% to 30%. But here's the kicker. Pricing for 2025 sailings was up a staggering 50% compared to 2019, according to maritime industry analysts tracking Carnival Corporation, Royal Caribbean International, Norwegian Cruise Line, and MSC Cruises. Meanwhile, Carnival Corporation reported revenue of $26.2 billion in 2025, a 7.15% increase from the previous year, while cruise ships earn an estimated net profit of $291 per passenger. California Senate Bill 478, which went into effect July 1, 2024, has forced some transparency, but the damage is already done. So, if profits are soaring and ships like Icon of the Seas and Symphony of the Seas are packed, why are cruise line passengers getting less value? The answer lies in these 8 fundamental lies that cruise lines tell to get you on board. Lie number 1. This is an all-inclusive vacation. This might be the biggest whopper of them all. Cruise lines love to market their voyages as all-inclusive experiences, but that term only truly applies to luxury cruise lines like Regent Seven Seas Cruises, Viking Ocean Cruises, and Silversea Cruises that charge $500 to $1,000 per person per day and actually include gratuities. What your base cruise fare actually includes on mainstream lines like Carnival Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean International, Norwegian Cruise Line, and MSC Cruises is pretty basic. Your cabin, transportation between ports, entertainment, and select food and beverages. Notice I said select. That word's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Here's what's not included in your supposedly all-inclusive cruise: alcoholic beverages, specialty dining restaurants, spa treatments, shore excursions to destinations like Perfect Day at Coco Cay or Ocean Cay, Wi-Fi and internet service, room service, and this is crucial: daily gratuities that are automatically added to your bill. One experienced cruiser put it perfectly. Cruise fares are more like mostly included and brace yourself for upcharges. That's not exactly the marketing message you see in those glossy brochures, is it? The reality is that mainstream cruise lines operate on what industry insiders call the razor and blade model. They sell you the cruise at a low base price, then make their real profits on everything else you buy on board. It's the same strategy airlines use with basic economy fares, but cruise lines have perfected it to an art form. Lie number 2. Cruise starting at $299 per person. You've seen those ads everywhere. 7-night Caribbean cruise starting at just $299. It sounds amazing until you actually try to book it and watch that price climb like a rocket ship. Here's how this scam works. That $299 is just the base fare for the cheapest interior cabin during the least desirable sailing dates. But before you can even complete your booking, you'll discover a laundry list of mandatory fees that weren't mentioned in the headline price. Port fees and taxes are the first surprise. These mandatory charges typically add 10 to 20% to your base cruise fare, so that $299 cruise just became $330 to $360 per person, and you haven't even left Port Canaveral or Miami yet. But wait, there's more. Daily gratuities are technically optional but practically mandatory. Let me break down what different cruise lines charge per person per day in 2025. Carnival Cruise Line charges $16 for standard staterooms and $18 for suites. Celebrity Cruises hits you for $18 to $23 depending on your cabin category. Norwegian Cruise Line takes $20 for standard rooms and $25 for suites. Princess Cruises charges $16 to $18 per person per day. MSC Cruises ranges from $12 to $16 per person daily. For a family of 4 on a 7-night cruise with Norwegian Cruise Line, you're looking at $560 in gratuities alone. Add that to your port fees, and your $1,196 cruise starting at $299 just became over $1,750. That's a 46% increase from the advertised price. This misleading advertising was so egregious that California passed Senate Bill 478 specifically targeting it. As California Attorney General Rob Bonta stated, our price transparency law is about clear and honest communication with consumers, so consumers can make the financial choices that are best for them and their families. The law is simple. The price you see is the price you pay. Most major cruise lines didn't implement transparent pricing nationwide until California forced their hand. They only changed because they had to, not because they wanted to be more honest with cruise line passengers. Lie number 3, complimentary dining in our main restaurants. Cruise lines make a big deal about their free main dining rooms and buffets. The marketing materials show gorgeous photos of elaborate meals and talk about multiple courses prepared by experienced chefs. What they don't mention is that the best items on those menus now cost extra. This is a relatively recent development that's particularly insulting to repeat cruisers who remember when the main dining room was truly included. Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean International now charge extra for premium items like filet mignon, lobster, or surf and turf combinations in their supposedly complimentary main restaurants. These upcharges range from $17 to well over $30 per plate. Norwegian Cruise Line has taken this concept even further. They now charge $5 for a second main course in the main dining room. Think about that. You're paying thousands of dollars for your cruise, but if you're still hungry after your entree, they want another $5. The buffets aren't immune either. Some cruise lines have started sectioning off premium areas of their buffets and charging extra for access. Suddenly, that complimentary dining doesn't feel so complimentary. Lie number 4, free room service convenience. Room service used to be a genuine perk of cruising. Feeling tired after a long day in port? No problem, just order something to your cabin. Not anymore. Royal Caribbean International now charges a $7.95 service charge for every room service order, even if you're just ordering a side of hash browns. But that's not all. They also add an 18% gratuity fee on top of that service charge. So your $8 order of hash browns actually costs you over $15. Norwegian Cruise Line hits you with a $9.95 convenience charge for room service. Celebrity Cruises also charges $9.95 for room service on all items except continental breakfast. Like Royal Caribbean International, Celebrity Cruises adds an 18% gratuity on top of their fee. The particularly galling part is how these fees are presented. They're called service charges and convenience fees, but they're really just profit centers disguised as operational necessities. The cruise lines want you to think these fees go directly to the crew members delivering your food, but that's not necessarily true. Lie number 5, stay connected with high-speed internet. Cruise lines love to advertise their Wi-Fi capabilities, especially as remote work becomes more common. They'll show you images of passengers working from their balconies or video chatting with family back home. The reality is far less glamorous. First, let's talk cost. Plan on spending $20 to $30 per day for internet service on most cruise lines. Some lines charge over $25 a day. And Norwegian Cruise Line has the distinction of being the most expensive internet service in the industry. On a 7-day cruise, you can easily spend over $150 per week just to connect one device. But expensive is just part of the problem. The bigger issue is that cruise internet is painfully slow. When the Points Guy tested Royal Caribbean's high-speed VOOM internet on Symphony of the Seas in 2024, download speeds usually clocked in at just 9 megabits per second. At no time did speeds exceed 10 megabits per second. And sometimes they dropped as low as 4 megabits per second. Compare that to typical home cable internet, which offers download speeds around 400 megabits per second. You're all paying premium prices for internet that's 40 times slower than what you get at home. The cruise lines also engage in throttling, though they rarely advertise this fact. Norwegian's unlimited internet packages are actually limited by speed restrictions that make streaming or video calls nearly impossible. Cruisers on forums have confirmed that these supposedly unlimited plans are heavily throttled, making them practically useless for anything beyond basic email. Lie number 6. Convenient shore excursions at great value. Shore excursions represent one of the cruise industry's biggest profit centers, and they use fear-based marketing to sell them. In port after port, cruise lines imply or outright state that their excursions are the only safe, reliable way to explore destinations. Take Marseille, France, as an example. Cruise line passengers on multiple lines were repeatedly told that the only way to get into the city was via the cruise line's transfer bus, which cost $40 per person. This simply wasn't true. Public transportation and taxis were readily available at a fraction of the cost. The markup on cruise line excursions can be staggering. Industry insiders confirm that booking directly with local operators can save you 30% or more compared to cruise line prices. A basic bus tour that costs $150 to $250 per person through the cruise line might be available locally for $75 to $125. But cruise lines have become more sophisticated in discouraging independent exploration. They schedule tight turnarounds and emphasize the risks of missing the ship if you explore on your own. While missing the ship is indeed a serious concern, the actual risk is much lower than cruise lines suggest, especially if you plan conservatively and stick to nearby attractions or cruise line-owned destinations like Perfect Day at Coco Cay. The cruise lines also mark up food and drinks at popular tourist destinations, sometimes double or triple what you'd find if you ventured beyond the immediate port area. They partner with specific restaurants and shops, taking commissions on everything you buy. Lie number 7. Adults-only areas for peaceful relaxation. Many cruise ships advertise adults-only sun decks, pools, and relaxation areas as amenities included in your cruise fare. The marketing photos show serene spaces where you can escape from the chaos of family-friendly areas. What they often don't mention up front is that many of these included areas actually cost extra. Several major cruise lines charge access fees for their premium adults-only areas. These might be called sanctuary fees or retreat charges, but they're really just another way to nickel and dime cruise line passengers who thought they were getting a peaceful space as part of their cruise package. The irony is that you're paying extra to access a smaller, quieter area on a ship you've already paid thousands to board. It's like buying a concert ticket and then being charged extra to sit in a section with fewer people. Lie number 8. All-inclusive drink packages. Cruise lines heavily promote their beverage packages like Carnival's Cheers package and Royal Caribbean's Deluxe Beverage package as a way to simplify your vacation and control costs. The marketing suggests you can drink unlimited cocktails, wine, and premium beverages for one flat daily rate. The reality is more complicated and expensive than advertised. First, drink package prices have exploded in recent years. Some lines now charge $100 or more per day for their top-tier packages. On a 7-night cruise for 2 people, you're looking at $1,400 just for drinks. But that $100 per day doesn't include everything. Many cruise lines have quietly rewritten their drink package terms to exclude gratuities. Automatic 18% gratuity charges are added to each drink, and these aren't covered by your all-inclusive package. On a $15 cocktail, you're paying an additional $2.70 in gratuities that your supposedly comprehensive drink package doesn't cover. There are also restrictions that aren't clearly advertised. Most packages have time limits. You might only be able to order drinks between certain hours. There are also quantity limits. You might be restricted to 1 drink every 15 minutes or limited to specific brands and types of alcohol. The cruise lines also use psychological tricks to push these packages. They'll tell you about all the premium brands available and show you menu prices for individual drinks that seem outrageously expensive. A cocktail might be listed at $18, making the $100 daily package seem like a bargain. But those individual prices are artificially inflated, specifically to make the packages appear more valuable. Here's a bonus deception that cruise lines don't advertise, but that can catch first-time cruise line passengers completely off guard. Every cruise ship has a medical center with doctors and nurses on board. In the post-COVID era, cruise lines actively encourage passengers to visit the medical center if they don't feel well. What they don't tell you is that these medical centers operate as independent businesses that charge rates comparable to emergency rooms. One Carnival Cruise Line passenger reported being charged just for a routine blood pressure check at the medical center. These charges aren't covered by your cruise fare, and they're often not covered by your regular health insurance since you're in international waters. The medical centers also have limited capabilities, so serious issues require expensive helicopter evacuations or emergency port calls. Medical evacuation insurance and travel insurance exist, but cruise lines don't exactly emphasize this need when you're booking your relaxing vacation. Let's talk about those gorgeous stateroom photos you see online. They show spacious-looking cabins with comfortable furniture and plenty of storage space. Professional photographers work magic with wide-angle lenses and strategic lighting to make these tiny spaces look livable. The reality is quite different. Your stateroom will be accessed through narrow hallways where you have to turn sideways to let other passengers pass. The bed will seem much closer to the walls than in those photos because they were shot from outside the room looking in. Your closet will be the size of a kitchen cabinet, and those spacious drawers are actually quite shallow. Interior cabins, the cheapest option that appears in those $299 cruise ads, have no windows at all. You'll wake up with no idea whether it's day or night, sunny or stormy. The cruise lines show these rooms in marketing materials with bright, cheerful lighting that suggests natural illumination, but you'll be living under artificial lights for the entire cruise. Beyond the safety fear-mongering, cruise lines engage in some truly audacious pricing when it comes to shore excursions. They've created a system where they control the narrative about what's possible in each port, then charge premium prices for basic experiences. A simple city tour that local operators might charge $30 for suddenly costs $120 when booked through the cruise line. Wine tastings that cost $25 locally become $95 cruise line excursions. Beach days that you could arrange independently for the cost of a taxi become $75 per person beach experiences. The cruise lines justify these markups by emphasizing convenience and safety, but the real reason is profit margin. They take substantial commissions from local operators and mark up the experiences significantly. In many cases, cruise line passengers are paying 200% to 300% more for the exact same experience they could book independently. The cruise industry's relationship with truthful advertising has been problematic for years. In 2012, Philip Charvet filed a class action lawsuit against Resort Marketing Group and major cruise lines including Carnival Corporation, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Royal Caribbean International over illegal robocalls promoting free cruise offers. The settlement, reached in 2017, was worth $12.5 million and paid class members up to $300 per illegal robocall. The lawsuit revealed a systematic pattern of deceptive marketing practices, where cruise lines partnered with telemarketing companies to promote deals that didn't exist or came with so many restrictions they were essentially worthless. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a broader pattern of misleading advertising that the industry used to attract customers with promises they had no intention of keeping. Here's what makes all of this particularly galling. The cruise industry is experiencing record profits while providing less value than ever before. Carnival Corporation has reported some of its strongest financial results in company history. Royal Caribbean stock prices have soared. The Cruise Lines International Association reports that the industry welcomed 35 million passengers in 2024, the most in cruising history. According to maritime industry analysts, in 2025, booking volumes for 2026 and 2027 are at record levels, with wave season bookings showing unprecedented demand. Royal Caribbean International reported that in addition to record ticket pricing, consumer spending on board and pre-cruise purchases continue to exceed prior years. Carnival Cruise Line's onboard revenue in the first quarter of 2024 was 17.6% higher than the same period in 2019. So ships are full, profits are up, and cruise line passengers are spending more money than ever. Yet cruise lines continue to nickel and dime customers with fees that didn't exist a few years ago. Restaurants that once charged $25 to $30 per person now routinely cost $60, $80, or even over $100. Perhaps most concerning is that cruise lines are specifically targeting first-time passengers with these deceptive practices. During its first quarter earnings call, Carnival Cruise Line noted a healthy mix of new-to-cruise passengers in their 2025 bookings, with this customer group increasing by over 30% versus the previous year. New cruisers don't know what to expect, don't know which fees are normal, and don't know how to avoid the upsell traps. They're the perfect targets for an industry that has perfected the art of turning a $299 cruise into a $2,000 vacation. None of this means you can't have a great cruise vacation. Millions of people cruise every year and have wonderful experiences. But you need to go in with realistic expectations and a clear understanding of what you're actually buying. The cruise industry has built a business model around misleading advertising and hidden fees. They sell you a dream at an artificially low price, then make their real profits on everything else. It's legal, it's effective, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon. Your best defense is knowledge. Understand that the advertised price will at least double once you add in all the mandatory and practically mandatory fees. Budget for internet service, drinks, specialty dining, excursions, and spa treatments if you want them. Read the fine print, understand what's actually included, and make informed decisions about which extras are worth the cost. The cruise industry depends on first-time cruise line passengers who don't know better. Now you do. Use this knowledge to plan a cruise vacation that meets your actual budget and expectations, not the fantasy that the marketing material sold you. Don't let these 8 lies turn your dream vacation into a financial nightmare. Cruise smart, budget realistically, and enjoy your time at sea. Just don't believe everything the cruise lines tell you about what's included in that tempting base price.